Okay. Okay.
All right. Well, first and foremost, welcome everybody to a class that that I feel is very, very important in the lives of anyone, whether they're spiritual or not spiritual, is not even really relevant. But I think that it's going to, give you guys some tools that you can use in the future for whatever it is that work that you're doing in your mundane lives and such. And what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about protection. Protection in and of itself is something, along with cleansing, that I think gets underplayed a lot, because everybody's always talking about how, I want to go get in contact with this deity and with this deity, and I'm going to do all this like magical work and all these spells and blah, blah, blah. And they forget about the importance of one of the foundations of spiritual work, which, is in and of itself protection. Now, when we get back down to brass tacks with this, protection is something that should be done on a daily basis. There are small things that can be done. There are big things that can be done. So what I would like from you guys is, like, in the chat is, can you tell me, why do you think that protection is important? Because I always like to open up a class with a question and then kind of move, from that point. But why do you think that that protection is something that's important for, especially for spiritual workers, to do?
So that there's no obstruction in any work that you're doing.
Okay, very good point.
It can prevent loss.
It absolutely can. It can prevent loss. Now, when it comes to preventing loss, what kind of loss are you talking about?
Like for its finances, even life or death, life. Can protect yourself from crossing the street, harm being done to you.
Something's going on. It sounded funny when you were trying to say something, Moise.
Someone says to protect and ill intentions of others. And those are all to stay ready. That's a very good one. Because we always need to be ready, because you never know what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. Sometimes things just come out of the woodwork, and it is either unexpected or unforeseen. So all of these reasons are very, very good and strong reasons why protection work should be a staple in any worker's repertoire, in any worker's book, in any work that is done. Now, we go to what kind of protection, what kinds of protection, is there? We've got, like, you have protection for the self, you have protection for someone else, protection for the home, and protection for your spirits. I bet I threw some of y'all for a little sidewinder on that one, huh? But we'll start with protection for the self.
You didn't ask me what is protection work.
What was that? I'm sorry, you broke.
You didn't ask me what is protection work.
What is protection work?
Protection work is standing in the gap.
That's a very good point. Standing in the gap.
spiritually between this world and the ether. That's really that's what protection work means to me.
And why is it important, do you think, in your opinion, to stand in that gap?
Because you're the actual conduit of energy. You are what connects the living to the dead.
Absolutely. Well, you are, and you also connect in some ways the living to the living.
Because there are some of us that are weaker and some are stronger. And so we are created for that, especially spiritual workers. And that's what protection work is for me. Because sometimes the spirit world stands in a gap for you, and sometimes you stand in the spirit world in a gap for them.
But people always, some people might be confused by that. Well, how is it that we're supposed to stand in the gap for the spirit world? That's what I always find to be funny, because people often forget that protection is not only for you or for someone else, but it can also be protection for your spirits.
The reason why that is because even in the spirit world, there is still a spiritual fight. Those things that exist in living are the same things that exist, quote unquote, in the dead. That's why you can't ever forget. That's why honoring the ancestors and honoring your spirit guides and your spirit teams are important too. Because of stuff like that. Now it's funny.
I was waiting for that. I so was waiting for that. Lord, yeah.
I'm never gonna take that picture down. I'm so sorry. I'm never gonna take that fucking picture down. Okay, I'm back. But that's what protection work. That's what it means. Because nobody's 100% protected all the time. And so, like Papa said, you got to get ready and stay ready so you don't ever have to get ready. And so that's what it is for me. Because if you don't do that kind of work in the beginning, then when people throw stuff and word curses and even fuck you, right? That can affect everything. But if you're doing the stuff that you're supposed to be doing, you never have to really worry about that. I mean, what does the Bible say? It says that the weapons will form against you, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they will prosper. Okay, Papa, I'm finished.
Well, the other thing that I wanted to bring up with what you were talking about when it comes to standing in the gap is that standing in the gap, that is also the principle of the crossroads. What manifests in the spirit will manifest in the physical, and what manifests in the physical will manifest in the spirit. It's like the two mirrors that face each other, the two mirrors of the crossroads, and what's done on one side will move itself into the other, and what's done on the other will move itself back into the one. If there's anything that you never, ever, ever forget, it's the principle of the crossroads. Because the crossroads is where everything begins and it is where everything ends. And it's that continuation of that cycle. So when we talk about protection work, there's different types, of protection work. There's, protection work for yourself. There's protection work for someone else. There's protection work for your house. There's protection work for your spirits. Now, when it comes to the protection of the self, I think that that's something that we kind of went over that should, have an understanding of that, is that, which is always to, be in that position of ready. Be in that place of being ready for what may or may not, be coming along. Because it's better to be ready than to not be ready and something happens whenever you're not ready for it. Because what happens then is that you get caught off guard. And then when you get caught off guard, it's a lot easier to push you over, you see. And so when it comes to the protection of the self, And this is not just protection in, you know, in the spiritual side. This is also protection on the mundane side.
Well, Papa,
And
I have a question about that.
Mhm.
So, what is the difference between a run of bad luck and feeling like you need that somebody's actually doing something personally that you need to protect yourself from? Thank you, baby.
well, the thing is that there's a season for everything. Sometimes, you know, what we may think is bad luck, or when things are going wrong, it's not necessarily bad luck at all. But what it is it's a test of your spirits. Because if everything was always easy, you would be weak. You would never be strong. When things are hard, what happens is that it provides in and of itself an opportunity to become stronger. It provides an opportunity to be able to stand firmer on your own ground. You know, it's just like, you know, going and lifting weights. You know, as you know, lifting weights, you're providing that restraint of the weight to have to pull it up and down and pull it up and down. And what ends up happening is you get stronger. If you never did anything and you were never tested, or things were not brought to you in a way that was challenging or difficult, you would never be strong. And if you're not strong, then what good are you to yourself, much less anybody else? You
Because
see?
some people tentatively think that everything bad that happens is somebody working on them and somebody doing something on them. And sometimes it's just the negative and the positive. It's just it's just in the world.
Yes.
And so it doesn't necessarily mean that you're being worked or somebody doing something against you, or because a lot of people feel like somebody's doing work on them, and sometimes just your bad decision making.
Absolutely. And sometimes you get paranoid. There's some paranoid people out there who always,
There are some
if you're always
extreme paranoid people.
if you're looking around every corner to find the devil, then the devil you're going to find.
And then
But
the flip side to that is, if you are not doing wrong to people in the first place, then you don't always have to think that somebody's doing something wrong towards you. If your heart and your mind and your will is to do the right thing, you don't think that everybody is trying to attack you. I don't think that everybody's trying to attack me, and neither does Moise.
No.
But if your heart isn't in the right, if it's not in the right place, and your mindset ain't either, and you're in that dark space where you think that somebody's always trying to do something against you, then you're gonna always be paranoid. That's why I don't really get into a lot of the stuff in these groups, or even my own, when they're talking about a run of bad luck or something happened to them, or they think that somebody hits them. Because a lot of times that's not, I'm doing bad. Well, sometimes it's the nigga you got in your house. You got a nigga in your house that ain't right. I mean, then nothing in your house is gonna be right. I mean, look what you fucking every night. You can't suck the bad out of them, and you damn sure can't fuck it out of them either.
No.
But a lot of you guys, I mean, it's the people that you have around. Papa can teach you protective work all night. But if you don't make the necessary changes to change the element and the vampires and the stuff like that you have around you, none of this shit really works. Because just how you have the protection work is supposed to protect you from certain things, you keep inviting them back in. And that's why you exhausted and tired, because you're doing the cleanses, you're doing all of this stuff, but yet and still you still sleep with that person every night. Or sometimes it's family, it's the people that you have in your home. Because everybody that you help ain't your friend. And family, that's just a title. That has nothing to do with anything. That's just somebody that you share DNA with. Doesn't mean that you share positive experiences with, because sometimes our family are the most negative people in the world. And the people that you rarely know, those are the people that will support you, not the people that's in your own home, your own house, your own family. And so you think, well, I'm going to do protective work, but sometimes you need to evaluate who you have around you, so you're not spinning your wheels. Because a lot of y'all can't move forward with a lot of things in your life just because of the people that you got in your household.
Absolutely.
Everybody that live with you and that sleep with you and that eat with you and that break bread with you, they are not for you. Some people just along for the ride.
Yep. And that's the other thing about it is that sometimes what has to happen is that you have to, understand that, like, if you have somebody that's around you that's not supposed to be there, then what's going to happen is that's going to bleed over into you, and that's going to cause things to go wrong. That's going to cause things to where you feel like somebody's doing something against you. That's going to cause things, to make things not the best that they can be. Why? Because you are not walking in the potential that you have, that's there. You're not walking in that, but what you're doing is you're accepting something that is beneath you, that is under you, and is only going to continue to drag you down. And then what do we try to do? We look at every single thing except for the cause of what's going on.
The root of it.
Sometimes you have to put your foot in an ass and get it the hell up out of there. That's what needs to happen sometimes. And, instead of blaming everything off, somebody's trying to, they're trying to do work on me. They're trying to hex me. Somebody's trying to, to tie up my luck. We look to all of those things because we refuse to look at what's directly in front of our faces, because we don't want to admit that, because for some reason there is an obsession that's there to where you feel as if you have to have this person, in your household, this person in your life, this toxic family member that's sitting around and doing nothing but bringing you down. We feel that that's what we have to do. But at the end of the day, it's not. So who are you going to live for? Are you going to live for yourself, or are you going to live for someone else that's doing absolutely nothing for you but causing you shit? That's just the way that it is. What we have to learn to do is we have to learn to recognize what is good for us and what is not good for us. The minute that we can begin to recognize what's good for us, the better things will turn out. Now, are there instances where people get are there instances where people get, to a place to where, like, there is, somebody is doing work on them? Absolutely. But it's looking for the signs of that, And then another one of my favorites is, oh, somebody's doing work on my man, and that's why he's acting like an asshole. Maybe he's acting like an asshole because he was born that way. Maybe he's acting like an asshole because he tries real hard. Maybe he's acting like an asshole because you let it. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. Again, sleeping with your own enemy. Oh,
So
the different types of protection, like the protection for the self. Is it possible to do protection work on other people besides your own kids and your family and stuff like that?
absolutely, it's possible. Now, there's an argument that goes around all the time, to where if you do something spiritual for someone else and you don't ask them, then you're basically manipulating a situation. What I have to say to that is, when it comes down to it, sometimes some people are so blinded they can't see anything for themselves, and sometimes you have to be in the eyes of someone else. Now, am I talking, are you to be trying to do breakup work and stuff like that on other people? No. But protection work on other people? Absolutely. Because what is protection work? It is a blessing. It's not a manipulation.
Have you ever heard somebody call it that before?
So when it comes to doing work for other people, again, remember, as a spiritual worker, we do have a duty and a responsibility to do what? To see, to keep our eyes open, to hear. What are your spirits saying? To see what's going on. And sometimes, that can mean, doing it for someone else. And that can also mean someone else doing things, like protection work for you. Because here's the thing is that, no matter how much we know, there's always someone who knows more than us. And sometimes the things that you would normally do may not be enough or may need to be seen from an objective point of view so that the right work can be done so that the right result comes from it. So if there's an issue, that you're having that, seemingly you can't handle, by yourself, or you're not getting the results that you're looking for, then, that's where you go to your godmother, for example, and you go to her and you say, hey, Magical Lady Duchess, I'm trying to do this, and, it's not working. And the first thing that she's going to do is she's going to ask you what's going on. And I can tell you this, like there are three people that you never lie to, because, sometimes we only like to tell part of the story, but there's three people that you never lie to, and that's your accountant, your lawyer, and your godparents. Just so as you know. But there are things that we will see that perhaps you don't, because you're looking at things, from the inside out as opposed from the outside in. And so when it comes to doing work for other people, that goes both ways. Sometimes work may need to be done for you. Sometimes you may be in a place to where you don't understand, why, things are still going the way that they are. And, it may or may not be, spiritual work that's needed. But we all have a duty and a responsibility to see and to hear. And so if we begin there, then basically you're on a path to make sure that, that things are done in the way that they're supposed to be. Things are done in a way that the best benefit for you will come out of it. You see.
I wanted to tell you guys too about, and I don't know necessarily if Moise believes in auras, because that's not hoodoo or voodoo. That's kind of more of a new wave type of thing. But because I consider myself an occultist, not an actual whatever, because I don't like to be defined by a particular title. I really don't. Because I think it limits your perspective, and it limits. That's why I don't want to be in an ATR. I don't really want to be in it. My godfather would love for me, but I kind of grew up around that, and I just like to be more freer, and I don't like all those constrictions that they give you at times. That's not something I'm really into. But I do believe in auras, and I do believe that your protection, the protection work that you do, it protects your aura. It protects like your shield of like you, right? And I think that a lot of times when people get mad, and I'm talking about like common everyday events that bring on negativity and kind of like upsetting things, that can actually minimize your aura, and it can actually like kind of weaken you too. And that protective shield that you should be working to have around you, kind of like arguments and insults. Like one girl that was in our group, I don't know, y'all remember that girl that was in the group that made a post that she wanted to hex the lady at the 7-Eleven because she asked her to put a mask on, and she went in there to get some coffee. And then y'all like drugged that hoe for filth. And y'all like drugged that bitch for filth, and she had left the group, and then she came in my inbox and was talking about y'all, talking about they like vultures and beasts, and I was like, absolutely. I absolutely want them to be like that. Like, so it's like the everyday arguments and, you know, insults and stuff can kind of like weaken it. And then envy, being jealous of people, that's like a huge negative emotion that kind of like, and maybe that's why it's important that y'all do your shadow work so that you're not jealous of envy of somebody for whatever reason. Because envy comes in where people think that they deserve more than what the other person have. Like there's a lady that's in a group, I don't never say no names like that, but she said, I think it's fucked up that all these people are prospering in your group, but I'm not. How they getting all these calls and jobs and checks in the mail? I ain't getting none of that. And I've been in the group just as long as they have. She's not jealous of anybody in particular, but that emotion is envy, right? Because she thinks that she deserves that, but are you putting in the work? Are you putting in the work that these people are putting in? Just because you are a part of something or you are connected to something, don't mean I have a child in my coven. And my coven, I love my kids. Y'all just seen I bought everybody coaches for Christmas, right? These are my kids that are here with me pretty much all the time. You know, 2 of them came up here tonight because I was up here teaching and I didn't want to be by myself up here, and they came, right? One of my kids, no matter what she does, she doesn't see the greatness within herself, and I could tell her 100 times a day. Now it has become exhausting to me repeating the same thing. So now I won't tell her shit else about nothing else. You don't never want me to do that with you. Because that means you are unlearned or you are uncouth, and I don't have time to keep doing that. But this is something that weakens that aura, and your protection work won't work against that because it's working against you. And the reason why I'm saying this is because Papa's talking about protection work for yourself, right? But if you are suffering from these things, it won't work. And then now you are wasting your time. And you're talking about jealousy, entitlement.
Mm-hmm.
Entitlement. Some of y'all, and I'm not going to say no names, even that's associated with Papa, they feel like they are entitled to his power. They are entitled to his knowledge. They are entitled to him as a person, and they don't feel like they need to work like he do. They just think because they are connected to him that they are entitled to who he is. That's exhausting. And that ain't on him. That's on them. But that's how they feel, entitled. Aren't y'all surrounded around people that feel entitled like a motherfucker? They're entitled to your peace. They're entitled to your happiness. That too will weaken your aura where you're not the protective work. It will be kind of hard. It'll be hard on you or harder on you. But again, this, and like I said, I'm saying this because this will stop you. And then now you're working against yourself. Some of y'all dating people that are entitled. Some of y'all, there's somebody here, y'all mama is so entitled to your happiness and your peace that she hates the fact that you find peace and happiness in whatever it is that you're doing, and she's never been able to quite catch that. So instead of her working on herself, you know what she do? She impede on you. And you allow that to be. And then you wonder why you feel so weakened and everything affects you. It's because you are allowing a person that has never been happy her whole entire life to impede upon your happiness.
And that becomes a poison.
Whew.
That becomes a crack in the shell.
I don't even know who that was for. But this is what you guys do. Anything that threatens my peace, I don't want it. I do not have toxicity in my life in the least. I will cut your ass off. You know how you be peeing real good and you cut your pee off because you heard something that was weird? I'll cut your shit off faster than that. And I do not give second chances. I will not give you the opportunity to elaborate and explain on why. I'm just done. My life is full of peace. Only drama come in when I be fussing about something. It's not because somebody bringing that shit to me. So I'm just, the reason why I'm saying this because I don't want y'all to miss the importance of what he's saying about oneself. You are everything. You are the core foundation. You are the God in your home. I have said this a bunch of times. You're it. There is nobody bigger than you are in your home. Not your kids, not your mama, not your family, not your Cyrus husband, not none of them. It's all on you. I'm gonna get back to Papa. I just wanted to stress that because I don't want you guys to miss that when it comes to protecting who you are. Because it's more than just doing a spell. It's more than it. It's you.
It's a way of life. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, it is, and that's the thing, because if you aren't at peace and you aren't strong, then you can guarantee that everything is going to crumble around you. The attitude of somebody who walks in their protection and walks in their strength is one that will always bring them on the victorious side, one way or another. But remember, folks, this is about work. They call this spiritual work for a reason. It is not spiritual easy. It's not going to happen overnight, but what happens is that you think of yourself like the caterpillar that transforms into the butterfly, makes the cocoon and gets into it, and then turns into something else. This is about transformation of not only the mind, but transformation of the spirit. It's about transformation of who you are currently to who you have the potential of being. And you want to protect that. Shouldn't be any cracks in the eggshell. How many of y'all go to the grocery store and when you buy eggs, you open up the carton to see if there's cracks in the eggshell? See? There's a reason why. Because the crack in the eggshell, what does it do? It ruins what's on the inside. It makes it bad. It sours it. It makes it no good. So you kind of have to think of yourself in that way, like an egg. And what you're going to do is you're going to continue to feed that shell that's there so that what happens and what comes of that always bounces off of you, because there is a line of protection that's there that cannot be crossed. That's why we spend lifetimes learning about this, because this is not just for our benefit, it's for yours as well. If you cannot protect your peace, then what are you protecting? You protecting your unhappiness? You protecting your misery? You protecting yourself from being walked on like a doormat? I don't know about y'all, but to me, that shit ain't worth it. And remember, like these are duties and responsibilities that we all have as spiritual workers. See and hear and then do. You know, there is, you know, what's called the magic of do. In other words, if I want to prosper, I'm not just going to sit on the sofa and wait for a bag of money to drop out of the ceiling and hit me in the head. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and I'm going to carve a pathway for that to happen, so that when it does happen, not only do I have that sense of accomplishment, but I already know what to do to protect and to grow that. Sometimes you got to get the weeds out of the garden so the plant will grow and bear fruit.
So is there a difference between protection from spiritual work and protection from on the mundane side of things?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Protection, you know, from spiritual work, you know, has to do with, again, protecting yourself from what may have happened on the spirit side of the crossroads versus what happened on the physical or the mundane side of the crossroads. Protecting yourself on the mundane side is what happens on the physical side of the crossroads, so it doesn't go into the spiritual side. Protection on the mundane side would be, again, if you have toxicity in your house, get it out. If you're dealing with toxic people, get it out. If you have something that's going on at the job, get rid of it. You have something that's going on in a relationship, get rid of it. Protection on the spiritual side would be if somebody is actively trying to throw work at you, then what do? You do work to get rid of it. And that's the thing. The way that the work is done is different in some ways, but they're alike in another, because remember the principle of the crossroads. What happens on one side goes to the other. What happens on the other side goes to the one.
So give us an example, like between the spiritual work and something mundane. Because when I think of mundane, I think of Christians, and I know you ain't talking about Christians like
that. Well, that depends on the Christian. No, like let's say that you're in a relationship that's toxic. Okay, you're in. And, you're with, as you were talking about before, somebody who has a sense of entitlement or is doing nothing but using you and exhausting you. The protection that's done there is something as simple as get the fuck away from me, get the fuck out of my house, and get the fuck out of my life. The end. Very simple, just like that. See, it just rolls off the tongue. So easy. On the spiritual side, let's say that somebody is, they're throwing things at you to, to change your luck, to change, circumstances in what's going on in your life. Well, this is where we start doing, magic work to send it back to them or to destroy it completely. And that can be something as simple as, as taking, 2 mirrors and putting a picture of, of the individual doing work on you in between the two of them and sandwiching them between 2 mirrors. So whatever comes at you is going to go right back to them. Somebody had asked before about, like, how do you know if somebody is trying to do work on you or to hex you? There's 100 different ways to find that out. Like, let's say that you're doing prosperity work and you have a prosperity candle that's going, that you're working, and the candle is turning black. There's a blockage that's there. There's something that needs to be taken care of that's there, which may be coming from another individual. Another thing that that you can do to find that out is to go to somebody who is a respected seer, respected reader. Because again, they're looking from the outside in, so they can see things. And I'm not talking about going to somebody who tells you what you want to hear, but somebody who's going to tell you the damn truth. Because we got too many of that shit going around. Oh,
yeah,
and by the way,
watching them too. I see y'all on them lives when they pop up on my goddamn Facebook, and y'all be up in that bitch. I want one. Here my cat. What's your cash out? $, I'm divine. That should be popping up on I be seeing y'all on there. Read my cards for $5.
I wouldn't roll
Read
out
my
of
cards. $25. What's your cash app? I see y'all on that motherfucker.
Yeah. And chances are, I'm going to tell you this while we're talking about that. If somebody charges you $5 for a reading, that's exactly what you're going to get.
$25 too.
And I go, oh, hell yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what you're going to get.
Real workers like myself and Moise, we sit up and look at that shit and be laughing like a motherfucker. And people really be thinking that them people are really on something. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. Most readers like me, and Moise don't like me saying this, we do not really use tarot cards.
No, that's for them.
I don't need to flip over one tarot card. And most of y'all done read in here, I read you for fucking filth. And I ain't even turned the card over.
Mm-hmm.
But see, people now, they're so definitively, they have to see something And that's why we use them. Tarot cards are confirming. They're not to really tell you anything, because a real reader don't need that. They really don't. Nope. They can look at you and they can sense you, and then spirit just start talking to them. Mm-hmm. That's why I don't like people touching on me, because I picks all that shit up. That's why I'm not really good. That's why I be drunk most of the time when I go into public places, like out to eat and shit like that. Because if I'm sober and it's just me and I don't have anybody to kind of buffer that type of energy, I start reading everybody around me. I can hear shit. I can hear conversation. I don't want to hear that. Mm-mm. But most attacks, they typically not how this bastard tried to do me. Typically they minor. But this motherfucker came to me with the gusto, had me kind of sick and everything, had Papa goddamn me doing some work, because we couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. That's the difference between something major and something minor. Because if it's something minor, you know, a little Florida water, right? Put a little Florida water, that clears stuff out. A little holy water. A lot of y'all don't believe in it, but it's legitimate. A little rue water, R-U-E, rue water, that works too. Ruta, what is how you say it? Ruta Grayli Nobilis or some shit like that. Ruta. It's supposed to give you grace. You know. Then you got Palo Santo and I don't typically say sage, because sage is not a protective thing. I don't know why people burn sage in their homes unless you have it mixed with something. It's just like roaches. You turn a light on and the roaches is just running around. That's how some of y'all do when y'all burn just sage in your house. It's an indigenous plant and it doesn't clear or protect anything. It actually attracts. So just think, if you already got bullshit going on in your house and you lighting some sage, and half y'all so damn crazy, y'all ain't even opened up a window or a door. You just got the spiritual roaches just running around in y'all house. If y'all don't remember nothing else, remember sage attracts spiritual roaches. I said it here first. It attracts the spiritual roaches. Y'all think y'all really doing some shit. Y'all got the spiritual roaches everywhere. Y'all just keep turning the lights on and they running from left to right. And what does roaches do? Roaches are nasty, right? Mm-hmm. They poisonous. They make things sick. So y'all just burning that shit in your house. I see you. Just see. And I'm like, what the fuck is y'all stop showing everything. Y'all stop putting all y'all shit on social media. People see. But what I said, that stuff that worked. Psalms 23. Walking through the house reading Psalms 23. And I'm talking about minor stuff. Again, I'm not really talking about what this motherfucker tried to do to me. I'm just talking about minor stuff that you can do every day. Some of y'all ain't cleaned your ancestor altar off since 2012. You just stacking shit on top of it. And the water then dried up in the cup. You ain't putting no water back in there. The liquor you put in there, they done been drunk that up. They so damn parched. That's protective work. They like colognes and shit, Kalunga and all them other type of cologne. Y'all ain't put that. That's protective work. And I'm talking about minor stuff, because that's what Papa really talking minor stuff. We're not talking about what this son bitch tried to do. We talking about minor stuff, just minor things, you know.
Yep, and that goes right into protecting your spirits. How do you protect your spirits? You feed them. Just like you need food to function, so do they. Even the dead got to eat. You spend time with them. You give them tools for protection. You elevate them. You talk to them. You commune with them. And that serves two purposes. Not only does that give protection for them, but at the same point in time, what does it also do? Is it makes you more sensitive to the presence and the voice of your own spirits. A lot of us have a lot of potent spirits that walk with us, but we can't hear none of them. We can't hear none of them because we don't feed them. We don't spend time with them. I tell you what, for 1 month, if you spend every single day at your ancestor altar, I can guarantee you that you'll see some change. And that's the thing, is that just like we need protection, so do they. Spirits are not omnipotent. They're not all powerful. Just as they help us, we have a responsibility to help them too. And that's what brings strength, bond, and relationship. And that also is what brings the wisdom to see, to not do dumb shit.
And you know what's another good thing, and I'm talking about past protecting your home and your spirit too. My mama, now I don't know if y'all know anything about this, I'm sure some always do. My mama used to take that Murphy's All Soap. This old school. Murphy's All Soap, and she would take it and put like some Van oil in it, in the Murphy's All Soap. And you can actually put that, what is it, that castile soap, that pure castile soap, put all that shit in a bucket. And she would take a broom and like dip it in the, and she would like go over the floor. And then she would go and like mop the floor after that. But that's a good way of cleansing, especially where you do spiritual work. If you don't remember nothing else, remember the Murphy's All Soap. Cleansing that area. Like, because a lot of times spiritually, especially with our altars, we feel like cleaning a table is just it. But it's not. You need to clean the area, the walls, the floor, everything around it. You know, just like you have to sweep and mop your floor, you got to sweep and mop theirs too.
Yep.
So I think that's something really good for you guys to, when you're working spiritually in cleansing spiritually. Psalms 25, Psalms 84, those are really good. Spirit, and I'm talking about cleansing of the spirit. Those are really good too for those who work with the Bible and stuff like that. I just thought, I'd be trying to add little stuff in there for you. And you can do that all over your house too. Mm-hmm. My mama used to have Psalms 84 on her altar, like the Bible just be open. And I just remember Psalms 84 on her altar like that.
Oh yeah. And another thing that works really, really good when it comes to protecting your house is washing your walls with vinegar. Anybody remember doing that? Because I sure as hell do. Getting some what is the white vinegar and washing down the walls with that.
My mama used to put a little bit of peppermint oil in it so it won't stay.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But why is it important to protect the home?
Anybody? Y'all want me to call somebody's name out? T-Mac, why is it important to protect the home? Yeah. She was like, the fuck? Yeah, you.
So it's important because that's where you live, that's where you sleep, that's where your family is at. That's you, basically. Another extension of you.
Because sometimes people won't attack you, but they'll attack the people that's around you as a way of getting to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sometimes they try to go for a weaker link than you. And so it's important to have that your home protected. It's important, for those things to always be up so that doesn't happen. Your house, yes, it is your sanctuary. It is, your sacred place, your place of peace. If you can't be at peace in your own house, then there's a problem. Because I can guarantee that that's going to spill over into other areas of your own life.
My mama used to read Proverbs 24, 3 and 4, and it says something to the effect of, by wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. Through the knowledge, its rooms are filled and with rare and beautiful treasures. That's what she used to say.
As it should be.
And that's how everyone should consider their home. Even if you live with somebody and it ain't really what you want, you still there. And she would always say that, to the point I'm 42. She's been deceased since 2004, and I could still remember that. By wisdom, a house is built. And that's just a little nugget for you guys as well. My home is my everything. I remember my cat. I had this whore cat. I ain't making this up for y'all that go back with me 3-4 years ago. Y'all remember my cat, Isis. You remember that bitch? That bitch was pregnant every 3 or 4 fucking months. That bitch was having 10 fucking kittens. I was like, where is she finding the male cats? Because this cat, she was kind of feral. Is that how you say feral? And I would let her outside. Like, I remember pulling up and she was fucking this cat, look, motherfucker like Garfield. And we pull up in our driveway and both of them like this. And I was like, yeah, get the fuck, what the fuck y'all do? And he would come to our back door looking for this bitch. And then there was another black cat, I don't know where he come from, and he would be looking for her too. She was a whore. She was a whore. Every time I turn around, this bitch was pregnant. Now, let me land the plane. So every 3 or 4 months, I'm giving away 10 fucking kittens. Y'all remember that? Anybody want a kitten? Y'all live in Dallas? Come get these motherfuckers. Like, every time. Like, I was sick of this bitch. I was like, damn, you ain't got no more insides. Your pussy ain't busted open. Like, what are you doing, sis? Like, what? And so the last time I gave away her kittens, right, this lady come to my house, and she said she followed me, and she was off of YouTube, right? And she was like, I live in Dallas. I want one of your kittens. I was like, okay, cool. Do you know this lady walked up on my fucking front door, up to the front door, and I opened the door, went to let her in, and she stopped. She could not come in. And I said, huh. So when my husband passed by the front door, he said, baby, let her in. I said, well, I told her to come in, and she's still standing here. So that's literally how she did. Like, she wanted to come in, but something wouldn't let her come in. So I politely put the cat in the little box I had, and I told my husband to pass it to her, not me. That's how your home should be protected. That if somebody ain't supposed to be there, ain't supposed to come in there, they won't. I had a cousin, I couldn't stand this bitch. Every time this bitch come to my house, the bitch went to sleep. And she would always say, I don't care what I'm doing. Every time I come to your house, I go to sleep. And I was like, yeah. Because I keep stuff in my house everywhere, in the outside too. Do y'all know what that would protect your home and keep you in it? Railroad spikes.
Mm-hmm.
You get your 4 of them. You might have to go walk the railroad yourself. For those who can't order none, for myself.
Would be bad for you.
Yeah. And then you get you some alcohol, some real rubbing alcohol, and you douse those. See, y'all take the railroad spikes, but you don't actually know how to work them. So you take the railroad spikes, you pour alcohol, you set them on fire. Now, please wait until the fire go out and they have cooled down. Some of y'all be like, well, Duchess said, take the railroad spikes and they on fire, and you trying to pick up the hot motherfuckers and then blame me because you got 3rd-degree burns on your head. And it's sad I got to say it like that. But some of y'all are not well. Y'all are not all well. Some of y'all don't need magic, they follow me. Some of y'all need medicine. And y'all don't take the medicine, but you want to do the magic. And then you take some of the instructions that me and Papa then gave you, and you just create your own shit to them. I had one girl say, well, I put ammonia on mine. Did I say ammonia? I don't recall saying that. One girl talking about she poured pee all over hers. Talking about, because I was just, and I wish I was making some of this up. I'm not. This literally is what fucking happens. But to activate that railroad spike, You pour alcohol and let it burn all the way down and let it cool off. And then you take it and you nail it around your home, or you nail it around your apartment complex. And it will keep you in your home, and it will also help to keep unwanted things out.
Mm-hmm.
Also, red bricks, like the red brick. I have them strategically placed in my home, and I also take the bricks and I bust them. And and often after it rains, I will go out and put that around my home as well, and the four corners on the inside of my house. And that is another great way to protect your stuff. Another thing is with salt, and I'm not talking about the regular table salt. I'm talking about like the black salt and the sea salt, or what is like how they call kosher salt. Those things are really good for protecting your home and driving things away. Now, I didn't say put it on your altar, because ain't shit probably gonna move. You put it on your altar. I seen y'all be putting big bowls of salt. I don't know where the fuck that came from. Ain't nobody told you to do that. But y'all, y'all just be creative and create your own blocks and wondering why shit ain't working. Just doing it all the wrong fucking way. But whatever. Another thing, like I'm really good with like the holy oil, the holy water, the protection oil, the root oil. I just believe in stuff like that. And then a lot of y'all don't guard y'all doors and windows. You got to work them too. You got to work with all of this COVID shit and all this other stuff going on. Y'all got to remember that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all know like the plants that our parents used to have in our homes, like those ivies, those ferns, the palms, the cactus, like the cactus plants? All of those are good protection plants to have in your home and stuff too, since we was talking about the house.
Mm-hmm.
So all of them, that's great stuff to have in your home. I do what they call a witch's bottle. Do you do that, Papa?
A witch's bottle?
Yeah, like the first of the year, my mama used to take a little piece, some nails, a little red brick dirt, the dirt off the red brick and stuff like that. And she used to seal it with black wax, and she would put it in those plants that I just named, like in the soil, and she would have them by the door.
Yeah, I have bottles too. It's a little different because the bottles that there's a couple that are buried, but a lot of them are hanging because they're always you keep them hanging, so they're always moving. Every time the wind blows, they're moving, and basically they're kind of like how you call it a moving guard, so to speak. But going back to the brick dust, that is something that's not difficult to do, and it's something that is that a strong way of protecting your house. Now, when I fix brick dust, what I will do is I add ground up angelica root to it, and then I also take and grind up bay leaves. Angelica root is really good for protection, and so are bay leaves. Actually, you can take three bay leaves and put them under your doormat to protect the front door and or the back door. You can lay the line of brick dust down, and you can as Duchess was saying, you can put it into the four corners of your house. With the spikes, you plant the spikes on the property at the four corners of the property. If you have an apartment, buy 4 house plants and plant them in the soil, in the plants in the four corners of the house. You want to have 4 because you want each corner to be sealed, to be fortified, to fortify the home. And why do we use railroad spikes? Because why? They're made out of iron. What does iron do? Iron protects. Specifically, it protects because from spiritual things, but will also protect you from physical harm.
Eucalyptus too is good too.
Oh yeah, eucalyptus is very good.
Yeah, because it It's a strong protective. And the only reason why I really haven't talked about per se like lavender, because remember when I was talking about the minor attacks, that's kind of on that level. What we talking about is a heavier protection for your home. Yeah. And I also like for those that like crystals, because everybody don't like crystals and stuff like that. But amber is really good. That's a really good protective. Like I just bought some big ass amber fucking stones for the store. The amethyst, that's good too, but that's kind of like on the minor. The amber is a little bit stronger than that. The jet, the jade, the labradorite, the obsidian, the pyrite, smoky quartz, the turquoise. That's really good and stuff too, and the cat's eye. So I was throwing that in for some good protection too, and the fluorite any color, you know, the ammonite, that's good too for like spirits, for the spirit the aquamarine is good for the spirits, and the emerald. And that also helps communicate too spiritually, if you're into that sort of thing. And Pop was absolutely right as far as like things hanging. Y'all ever see stuff hanging on the door? Oh, you know what just made me think of, Papa? You know what is the most common hanging thing that most people have, or most Christian people have, or your big mom used to have in your home, in her home? Do you know what it was? Anybody?
That Psalms thing they give you in church.
The crucifix. The crucifix. Yeah. The crucifix. That was a very common, the depiction of Jesus on the cross, that type of shit. That was, they didn't have it in a house for decoration. They actually had that in a house for protection. Especially if you go like into like Lake Charles and Lafayette, and it's like that part of Louisiana. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Saint Benedict, am I pronouncing it right? His medal, that was good too. And the Star of David, like the Shield of David. Saint Michael, that archangel, the archangel Saint Michael. He was good for protection. They had a movie about him with John Travolta. Y'all remember that?
Oh yeah.
Y'all should look that up. That's very interesting.
Yep. And then another thing that you can do that's very simple for your house is you can get a small mirror and hang it in front of your doors and windows to where the mirror is facing out. Because what does the mirror do? It reflects back. It bounces things back. And all you have to do is just hang it there. And, you know, then, let me see. Well, and then like there's, you know, things that, you know, that we could do with the chicken, but I'm not going to get into all that right now. I ain't going to get into that right now.
I'm actually going to teach that to my apprenticeship. About that good old chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't just good for frying.
You damn right.
Another thing too, that you guys, asafoetida really stinks. It is some it's some stinky shit, but it is. They call it the devil's dung, like the devil's shit. That's really good for banishing things and putting it around your. Oh, you know what else they used to put around the house? And y'all thought that they was trying to get rid of the roaches and the snakes, which kind of sort of they was. And your big mama them used to do that. You know what they used to use? Sulfur. Sulfur is another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can also make sulfur baths. sulfur soaps. I sell the sulfur soap. That is incredible for cleansing and stuff like that. See, it's a lot of stuff that you thought that Big Mama and them just doing crazy stuff, and they was really protecting the shit out their home and your ass too while you was up in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also, my mom used to do. She would make holy water and sugar. That's an old hoodoo thing. Holy water and sugar and sprinkle it around her house after she would spring clean, because that's what they would call that. I hope y'all enjoying these little gems. I just thought about some of this shit I ain't thought about in a long time, talking about cleansing your house.
Oh, and by the way, the ivies can be used to hide work so other people don't see it. But the other things that an ivy will do is catch work. So it's good to have an ivy inside your house. It's also good to have a hanging one outside.
Why you think them old folks used to do that?
Now, another thing that you can do in your house is you get a glass of water, and y'all know them those evil eye beads, those little beads that people make bracelets out of them all the time with the little eyes on them. Get 3 of those. You get 3 of those evil eye beads, and you're going to put that in a glass of water. Get the glass ones, not the plastic ones, because you want them to sink to the bottom. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get a camphor cube, because camphor is very good for protection. It's also good for cleansing. And you're going to put a camphor cube in the top of that glass. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take that glass with the evil eye beads in it and the camphor cube on top, and you're going to sit it next to your door. You're going to get a white candle, and you're going to light a white candle next to it. The candle doesn't have to be lit every day, but whenever you start the work, you're going to light a white candle, like one of those emergency candles or whatever that they burn for about an hour or whatever. You're going to light that next to it, and then you're going to leave it there. Usually you'll change the water out once every probably week or 2. If there is water left in it, take the water to the street. Don't throw it down the sink. Don't throw it on your steps, but take it out to the street and throw it out there. Take the evil eye beads back in, and then you're going to repeat the process. And what that will do is that protects you. It protects your house from evil influences, but it also protects from what's called the evil eye, which is birthed from envy and jealousy. It's birthed from people talking shit about you. It's birthed from that sort of thing, which, as we know, has an ability to come in and to, mess shit up.
And also the devil's pod. Those devil pods are good too. They also call them bat nut, lean nut, ball nut. I didn't make that up. They actually call it that. And it looks like the head of a devil, like a horn, like that. And it's black. It looks like a dried sea pod. Those ward off evil too. Pop, I love how we just bounce off each other.
Mm-hmm.
You are just so amazing to me.
Me too.
You just make me so happy.
Oh.
I'm gonna take a break because I need to go pee, and I'm sure that Papa might need to go pee too. And you guys will be back in about 10 minutes. We don't have that much longer to go. It's already 8:20. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope you guys have wrote questions so that we have a whole time to answer questions for you guys. We have a few things else to talk about, like protection brings power. Working with your spirits to bring steady flow of protection, and then a head held high plugs holes. I'm not quite sure what the fuck that means, but this was something that my godfather sent me that said he wanted to discuss. So it sounds very fucking interesting. So I'm gonna take a break. He is too, and we'll be right back. Okay?
Right back.
All right. Hey y'all. Are y'all enjoying class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
For
ma'am.
those who are in my apprenticeship or in my coven, look at her putting the food down. It's all right, Morgan. You can go ahead and eat your food. I ain't ate yet. I'm still fasting, but I'm gonna eat. When she ate that chicken leg, she talking about chicken leg, and she was like, "Oh shit." I'm hungry, the motherfucker too. We fast on Tuesdays. Oh, I'm hungry. That chicken look good. Put that goddamn chicken down. She will project. Oh, I'm hungry. Some of y'all that's in my apprenticeship and in my coven, y'all ain't fasting. Y'all look like y'all been eating all day long. T-Max, you ain't eating? What about you, Latoya? You look like you'd had a meal before 7 o'clock. Your lips look all hydrated and shit. Somebody lying. Y'all lying. Kayla made some. I just came in. I ain't know. No. Cause your lip look real shiny. Your shit ain't dry like my shit. Look at Morgan Allen.
I did eat a cookie, but I forgot it was too late, so I had to finish it. I forgot. It was like 6:01. I'm sorry.
Here I am with a hunger headache, trying to do this goddamn class. Ooh, Morgan, I can still see you eating. Why you trying to turn away? I want to eat some chicken now. Shit. Damn. Y'all see how advertisement do? Yeah, see, there were people that was trying to come on. But what did I say? What I tell y'all? 7:15, 7:30. Because if you come on this disruptive, you know what I'm saying? They gonna learn. They gonna learn. Mm-mm-mm. You know, Papa was saying something about the spirits talking to you. What do y'all think what he mean by that? How they communicate?
Speaking to you in dreams.
They do. And the reason why I said that because one of my kids brought it to my attention about the water with the bubbles. Do you know what I'm talking about, Moise?
Mm-hmm.
They said that, you know, there's this thing that if there is bubbles in the water, then the spirits are there. And if your water don't have the bubbles in it, then it's not. And that is not actually what that means. Sometimes it do, sometimes it don't. But that does not mean that your altar or your offering or whatever is powerful. Okay, guys? Just because you see that, that does not necessarily, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that. Okay, T-Mac? Sometimes I am so fucking hungry. Oh my God. Oh. I went over and beyond. I probably won't never I don't do this shit no more. No, I was playing. Morgan, you still eating? Man, put your food down, Morgan. Have some respect. We fast on Tuesdays. And so about 7 is when we end. And it's 8:32. She gonna make me find me some goddamn fried chicken. I'm gonna be greasy than a motherfucker one out. I want some Popeyes. All right. Can somebody order me some chicken? I don't know. Whatever deliver I hear this time. I'm hungry as fuck. I'm hungry. I'm ready to fight. I can't even go outside because somebody look at me the wrong way. You know how y'all just be thinking somebody trying to start shit. This bitch, girl, she said hi. Ain't nothing even bad about hi. Just hi, baby. She ain't starting no shit. Damn. Yeah, I'm gonna be like, y'all, I had seen a buzzard. So I know that means something. No, baby, you just.
It means time to eat.
You just hungry. That's it. All right, Papa.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
With the spikes, do all 4 have to stay together, or can we individually put it on the 4 corners of our house?
Why would you put all 4 spikes in one particular spot?
I was maybe thinking about at our porch or the back porch.
So what's the premise of what Papa said, the 4 spikes, what they represent? Don't get quiet now, Miss Love.
The 4 corners?
So why would you put them all in one spot?
North, south, east, and west.
Okay, so why would your question be, why would you put them all in one spot? That
Gotcha.
kind of defeats the purpose of the 4 corners now, don't it?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Do you have any ideas of what the devil pod, where you would put yours at?
Well, I hang mine. I hang them in the front, by the front door, by where the dogs be at. Sometimes they go out to the back door. And I also, I have them hidden by my door in my bedroom.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You know, they used to put them on a chain, like not a chain, like a necklace, or they used to string them along together so it'd be a string of the devil's pods. And you know what they would do when they would hang the plants outside? They would hang the devil's pods around the things that were hanging. And so you really don't even know what you're looking at. You think you're just looking at a plant and you're really looking at some other stuff. They were very creative. We don't have that type of creativity now. We too busy looking at other folks trying to emulate them because we trying to do what they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we too busy looking at all the foolishness that some people be putting online.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that looks so good. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions before we complete this on?
How you doing, Duchess?
I'm
Uh,
fine.
well, I went like this with my little altar. I said I found these in my daddy's little storage building.
Mm-hmm.
I went like this. I said, well, I'll put that on there. I said, cause I said a deer uses the antlers for protection when he's fighting. I said, why not?
I think that is perfect, Kim.
Said that. I said, I got my little snake head I got from you. I said, he got one little fang, but he still can bite with it.
You know
And
what
I
else
went
is
like
good
this.
too? Wings. If y'all can find out the wings of something, wings are good.
Wings.
I put those on my
Okay. Yeah, and I went like this. I said, since I'm in Louisiana, I saw this. I said, well, get the gator too. Little gator head.
Mhm.
Yeah. Between
When
Louisiana
you
and
say
Texas.
wings, do you mean like feathers?
I'm talking about the whole goddamn wing.
Oh, damn. Okay.
April, bring me one of them wings off the altar, please, darling. Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm really into animal curios. I'm really into that. Thank you. You're so sweet. See,
Mr.
Let's see.
I'm really into. So I try to be new school. Thank you, darling. I try to be new school, but a lot of me, the older I get, the more I wanna. That's scary. The older I get in this, the more I want to be like my mother. And when I was younger, that's the one thing I wanted to run away and not be like.
Imagine.
Yeah, imagine.
Mhm.
I had this dream. I'm gonna say it in front of. Then we're gonna talk to Zaire. Zaire, she lifted her hand. Except Moise told me a few months ago that he had this dream that we were out. What'd you say, like in a forest or something? And we were having almost like a church.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
And he was like, I had this dream about you, and you was just. I had that dream last night. And I was trying to wake up because it looked like I was in a different time period or something. It wasn't now. It was from a time before. I thought that was really interesting, Papa.
Hey, Duchess.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, this right here. I went like that. I don't know why I picked it up, but then I saw you with on your site. You had the little blue balls. This right here.
Yeah, bluing.
Yeah, they would put that in Florida water,
Okay.
just like the blue, and you just spray your house. I actually sprayed it in my car.
Okay. And I remember Miss Gidry, may she rest in peace. She used to make us and and all her daughters scrub the walls with that. She said to get rid of the spirits with that brown bottle of Lysol.
Yeah, that stinky concentrated shit. Yeah.
Uh
You talking about Creolina?
huh. she and her daughter still Gustavia still will do it.
Those are some great tools. What is it, baby? Chicken, goddamn it, with some pepper. Morgan sitting up eating that chicken like it's the best fucking chicken she ever fucking ate in her life. KFC. That's the only thing that's delivering over here. I don't want that.
My question was, can I ask my question?
I'll get the KFC. Go ahead.
My question was for like your bedroom specifically, or your bed protection, and especially like dreams, because I'm more than positive my spirits are trying to speak with me, and the dreams are so wild and vivid that not even 5 seconds after I wake up, 80% of the time I can't remember to even like start a journal or anything like that. So
In that case, what I would do is you take a glass of water, put it underneath your bed wherever your head is laying.
Okay. Is there anything else I need to like do to my bed? Just that?
That's it.
Okay.
And just know naturally, guys, sometimes that's normal for everybody though. That's why I used to tell people to always keep a notepad and a pen and stuff by your bed. And whatever you remember, that's what you meant to remember. But the water, because that's where spirits flow. They flow through the water. So I could absolutely see that. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about, well, we kind of talked about the work done for yourself, the kind of work. Do you want to talk about like the work done for your spirits for protection per se?
Sure. We hit on that a little bit, and one of the biggest things that you can do to bring protection for your spirits is to feed them, because as you feed them, they get stronger. Just like we need food to sustain us, so we have energy to work and energy to do what we need to do, so do our spirits. Another thing that you need to do is to make sure that you communicate with them. Make sure that you commune with your spirit. You can do spiritual elevations. If you're talking about ancestors, which are a great form of protection for us, because they're basically your biggest fans, because they want you to succeed, to flourish and to blossom. You can do elevations for them. One of the things that I always suggest for people to do for ancestors or not, and it doesn't matter whether you're Catholic or not, but I can tell you that one of the things that they're very good at is spirit elevations. And so what I typically suggest for people to do is to go, and you can usually go on, whatever church's website, and they'll do it, and go have a mass said for an ancestor. Whether you're Catholic or not, it doesn't matter, because that's one of the things that they are pretty good at. And what I usually have them go to 7 different churches and have 7 different mass said for those ancestors and such, because what does that do? It brings elevation to them. It brings them up. It lifts them up. And as they're lifted up, then so are you, because that gives them an additional strength that they may not have had before, so that you can do what you need to do. And also at the same point in time, you're giving them the strength to have protection for themselves and for you. So that's my suggestion when it comes to that. The other thing is that give your spirits tools to use, tools to work with. Sometimes your spirits may want a blade. Sometimes, your spirits may want a hammer. They may want a book. Because remember, that is just the physical manifestation on this side that's going to manifest on the side of the spirit. You give them tools, guess what? They have tools to work with now. That's part of the reason why we have altars. Sometimes we have to help provide the tools that's necessary for our own protection and our own growth. And that's the same thing that you do with them. Yes, it's very similar to a novena.
I have a question.
Go ahead. Oh, what's her name? Zari? Zari? Zaire? She had a question. Go ahead, darling.
That was me earlier. I already asked it.
Oh, okay.
About the dreams. Thank you.
You're welcome. Go ahead with your other question, darling.
What is a good way to neutralize negative energy if you can't get the person out your house?
How can you not get the person out your house?
They're my grandma.
Who's talking? Who said that? Angel. Why the fuck you got your grandmama in your house in the first place? What she doing, girl? What are you doing? You know what I do? Take her and put in a car and drive by a bunch of assisted living facilities and nursing homes and tell her, if you keep fucking up, you see all these wonderful nursing homes and assisted living facilities, you're going to be in one. I'm going to put you, and they can take your check. They got Medicaid beds and Medicare beds for you. If you don't shut the fuck, no, I'm just playing. But I would drive her around and show her all the beautiful assisted livings and nursing homes that would love to have. Why your grandma in your house?
Well, because of COVID, there's a lot of them dying, so I don't feel comfortable having her there.
Well, clearly she don't feel comfortable because she's doing something to make you want to make her not want to be in the house. What's the problem?
Well, she has dementia.
Okay, so let me say this, and I'll bullshit aside, and I'm not trying to be funny. So my mother and my father, I both took care of them when they had cancer. My father was not a problem. It was easy. He just didn't want to be alone. I wouldn't put my dad in the home to save my life. Now, my mother, on the other hand, I wish I would have put her in a home and let them good old white folks take care of her, because she drove me batshit crazy. I used to contemplate putting a pillow over her face. Wait, I'm recording. Well, she did. Don't matter. She been gone for a while. I used to contemplate taking her out her fucking misery, because she was making everybody fucking miserable. She would sit up and fight with spirits. You could, the way my daddy's house was set up, you could see it was shotgun houses. You can literally sit in the living room and see all the way to the back. And she would be in the room fighting. You try to go in there and sit with her. Don't sit right there. Her dead daddy, her dead son. Everybody was dead in her room. And you couldn't sit nowhere because you sit, and they would taunt her. This is how she lived. She must have lived, my mother lived a very fucked up life. She did a lot of fucked up stuff. And I don't think any light dwelled in her. I remember she would throw food at the wall, and she would be saying she was throwing it at spirits, like they was coming to get her. And she said they would dance around her bed, like just going around her bed. I couldn't see nothing. I couldn't feel nothing. But the dogs wouldn't even go in their room. They would stop. Because, dogs see spirits and stuff that we don't see. They have a sensitivity to that. And even after she died, the dog would not go in the room. And if I pick him up and I would bring him in the room, that motherfucker would run right on back out. He was like, I don't want none of that. So he would. So I'm going to tell you something that I would do. You really want her out?
Yeah.
Now, this won't maybe push her out, but this will help to control, per se. I'm not going to tell you that one. This will help you to control the negativity that can come along with older people. That's fine. You can get 5 shot glasses, like 5 little shot glasses. And this really go for anybody that's sick in your house and you want them to kind of to control that energy of them. And you get you some ammonia, get you some Florida water, get you a square of that camphor. And if you can't get camphor, old school. What's the other thing for camphor? Bakes vapor.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't get that, you can use that. Same thing. And you get you a new pair of scissors and you get you a holy Bible. And you will take, use the small cups or containers or the shot glasses, because it'll offset the odor, right? The odors. So you'll pour ammonia in those 4 shot glasses, and you'll place a cup in each corner of the room. And be mindful of kids and pets and shit like that. Because pets, they can't enter that space unsupervised, because they might knock the shit over, or y'all, some of y'all got badass kids and shit like that, and then they're fucking with shit, and you'll pour the Florida water in the last votive cup or the little shot, and you will add the square of camphor. If you don't have the camphor, get you a spoonful of vapor rub and put it there, and you're going to place it under her bed. And then you're going to open the Bible to Psalms 121, because Psalms 121, it protects people at night, especially when they're sleeping. That's another thing y'all can do too. And put that under your own bed, where you're at the head of the bed where you sleep at. Um, it doesn't matter if it's written or you print the page out. It don't really matter. The scissors have a number of uses in the spiritual practices. They could cut things and they could also bring things together. Um, so on this particular function of it though, to repel whatever the fuck they trying to do, you can place the open-ended scissors atop of the Bible where like the blades and the scissors are kind of like facing upward, so that one blade and one handle of the scissors are over each page, and position it under the bed. And then kind of monitor those little shot cups or whatever and refill them as needed. And that will really help to absorb some of grandmama's issues.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Or you could put it in a car and drive her to all them damn nursing homes and assisted living facilities and show her this will be one of your choice. Because you ain't that goddamn crazy. You're gonna get the fuck up out of here. But that's, I mean, it might seem like this is weird what I'm telling you, but it actually does. Because I used to have to do that for my mama. So, yeah. Do you have anything else to say about that one, Papa? About grandmama giving her a hard time?
Does she take showers by herself, or you have to bathe her?
She's independent when it comes to like stuff like that.
Well, she can independently live on her own then at the assisted living facility. But no, for real. If you can, what I would do is I would make a bath for her, a bath that is sea salt and lavender, to calm her ass down and to kind of draw out those, how you say, negative sides that's there to make things, you know, at least a little more bearable until, you know, something else, you know, can be done. But, you know, I'll tell you, you know, you should be kind of looking a little bit at a plan for, you know, for what may need to happen in the future. Because I mean, with dementia, you know, it's something that, you know, as you know, it does progress. And so, you know, sometimes what has to happen is that, you know, it becomes something that is more out of your control than is in your control, and something to where essentially, you know, care is something that you're going to have to do 24 hours a day, or, you know, have her in a place to where they can do that. I mean, and that's a real thing.
Absolutely.
This is where the medication comes in.
And also clean our room with pine.
Oh, yes.
Clean our room with pines or anything with pine. That'll help to kind of slow that stuff down too. Her bathroom, anywhere where she sits at a particular period of time. So, yeah. Because when they have dementia, they're going into that other part of the brain. And that's the spirit all within itself.
Mm-hmm. Sure is.
All right. So protection brings power, confidence, and takes away blockages.
Absolutely. When it comes to walking and knowing that you're protected, it brings a confidence there that enables you to do things that you may not have been able to do before. It brings a power there and a strength there to know that what you're doing, you have backup, so to speak. When you walk in protection, you're walking in strength. You're walking in a foundation that when a storm does come by, knowing that you're not going to get knocked over in the middle of it. You know, protection is about, you know, not just the work, but also the attitude. It's also about the way that you think. Because remember, the way that you think in your heart, so will you be. So it's understanding that when you're moving in protection, you know, protection work, having the frame of mind that you're protected, that you're blessed, that you're strong. What does that do? It brings confidence and it opens up other doors. So you have to keep that in mind, that there's always two sides to everything. There's the side of the spirit, and then there's the side of the physical. And both of those things must be in balance in order for the recipe to work.
And that's what a lot of people, what? Okay, that's what a lot of people don't get to. Again, a lot of this work is that if you're not a confident person and you're struggling as far as your root, like your root chakra and stuff like that, it's really hard to do anything that's successful, including protection work. So working with your spirits to bring a steady flow of protection. What does that mean, Papa?
Steady flow of protection is that whenever you're working, doing work with your spirits, what are you doing? You're opening a door. You're opening a door that basically it's a door where there's a constant, like a river, that's just continuing and continuing and continuing, and it's nonstop. You're repeating a cycle over and over again, and that cycle, what does that do? It opens you up. It brings protection to you because why? Relationship. Cannot stress enough the importance of relationship with your spirits, because your spirits do what? Provide opportunity, but they also can see further down the road than you can, so you know if something is coming. So you know if there's something that's going to happen that you can prepare for now, so there's no surprises then. Being able to see through the eye of the spirit is being able to see farther down the road than a lot of folks normally look at. Because a lot of folks, one of the issues that they have is they can only see what's in front of their face, and they don't see what may be down the road coming towards them. They don't see the potholes in the road that's going to trip them up, that's going to cause them to slip and to fall. Maintaining a relationship, feeding your spirits, giving your spirits the tools that's needed. Open up that door to that constant flowing river that always has you at the ready. So when something is coming, you start to feel it. You start to dream about it. You start to hear about it, and you pay attention to those signs. And then those signs that you pay attention to give you the opportunity to act on them before essentially like the two cars hit each other in the middle of the road.
Like Papa said, like giving your altar, you know, hammer and, you know, knives and stuff like that. You can also give your spirits herbs and roots, you know, especially if you're working with them for protection or you're asking them to protect them. Like I keep agrimony on my mom and dad's altar, angelica root, like Papa said, bay leaves, like he said, bone set, those are good too. Caraway, like the caraway shells. Y'all know those are great for protection. And Shango loves caraway shells. You can get you like a little bowl of them or something. Flaxseed, it's not just good for the digestive intestines, it's also good for it wards off evil. And lemongrass. It wards out evil, and it's a double because it brings you good luck.
Exactly. Low John root is also another very good thing,
right,
to have there, because Low John, what does it do? Is it will catch evil and stop it from penetrating, you know, what's going on, but it also will remove it from you.
Right. So those are things that you can definitely give your ancestors, your spirits. And I could talk about a bunch of demigods and a bunch of orishas and stuff like that, but I just really feel like then when it comes to personal protection, you really need to align with your own ancestors, known and unknown. I think that's important more than anything. And then the last thing before we go into questions for those who have any is a head held high plugs holes. What in the hell does that mean, Papa? Like, what does that mean? I looked down, I was like, what the hell that mean?
So even when we're doing protection work, sometimes there's weak spots, and sometimes we can get hit the wrong way, and those weak spots create a crack or they create a hole in, you know, the protection work, the shield, the shell, whatever you want to call it. And things can seep in through that. May not be noticeable at first, but then, you know, as it continues to drip in, what happens is that it begins to grow, and then it becomes noticeable. But when it becomes noticeable, you know, then there's a whole other slew of things that you have going on. One of the biggest things when it comes to stopping those holes from happening and plugging those holes that may have been there is that you need to have confidence in who you are. You need to have confidence in your own work. You don't walk with your head down. You don't walk just looking straight at the ground. Why? Because if you walk that way, that is a subconscious admission of defeat. And so you're defeating yourself before you begin. Know who you are. Walk in who you are. And that in and of itself, not only is that a form of protection, but that can reverse things that may be coming through the work that you've been doing. If you talk to somebody, look them straight in the face. If you're walking down the street, hold your head up and know who you are. It's about knowing who you are. The moment that you know that, and you know where you're going, what happens is that all those holes begin to get filled and opportunities begin to open themselves up. Roads begin to open. If you can't open a road, then what can you do? Sometimes what happens is that we become our own worst enemy and we trip ourselves up because we have either, you know, like it could be something that comes from low self-esteem. It could be something from being told, you know, this negative thing and that negative thing to where we're conditioned to believe it. Be strong and confident in who you are. And the strength of that confidence lends itself to protection and can in and of itself become a reversal for things that may be going on. Don't ever allow anyone to put you, you know, in a place of defeat. I look around all the time and I see people who, you know, they're walking around like with their heads down, or they're just looking at the ground, and they look like walking victims. That's what they look like. Now, why would you want to do that? I mean, because if you want to be a victim, I can promise you that somebody will take advantage of that and make you one. Understand the power that comes inside of you, the power that you have that's there. And walk in that. Walk in that knowledge. Walk in that power. And that will reverse whatever may be going on. It'll plug the holes in those shells of protection. You understand? So that's what I meant by that.
Well, that was nice. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers them out of them all.
All of them.
And that's Psalms 34:19. And I love that. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, which means a lot of times, you know, based off our bad decisions, you know, that we make, we put ourselves in some crazy predicaments. But if you really do the work on forgiveness of yourself and other things like that, you know, a lot of this stuff, nobody's did anything to you. It's a self thing. It's just decisions that you've made and they now come back like this. Just like Angel didn't let her grandmama stay there through COVID, and now she want to put her motherfucking ass out. See, that was a decision that Angel made. Angel should have never let her grandmama come stay there in the first place. Angel ain't the only motherfucker that's in the family that could have took her grandmama in, but Angel decided to do that on her own. Now, many are the afflicted, because now Angel like, what can I do to get this motherfucker out my house? Because she is driving me batshit crazy. But a lot of these, because believe it or not, a lot of us work in guilt. We live in guilt. We function in guilt. We don't function in a place of peace. And so this is why we make those type of decisions. Morgan, you had a question? Anybody, if y'all have questions, now is the time to ask. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody.
Eating her chicken.
So, I was eating Popeyes too. When you said you wanted Popeyes, that's what it was. I was eating Popeyes.
What I'm talking about.
So my question is, going back to when you were saying about books being a tool, the Holy Bible, like I think I remember Duchess, it was definitely Duchess that said that, and I started keeping the Holy Bible on my altar. Is that like, you know, considered a tool, and do I need to open it up?
Yes, why would you just have it sit? Well, go ahead.
Absolutely. Open it up, put it up there. You know, it is a tool. Why? You know, what people don't like to talk about, and Christians get mad when I say this, but the Bible ain't nothing but an old spell book. That's all it is. And there's things in there that you can do from blessing to cursing, from protection to prosperity. Everything is there. You know, just like in the Psalms, it says, you, O Lord, are a shield for me, my glory and the lifter of my head. That's why you don't look down whenever you walking around.
Something to support what you just said. I said you better give them something to support what you just said. Okay.
And so what happens is that your spirits can use that. They can use that as a tool for your own protection, for your own prosperity, to go on the offense whenever you have to do something to somebody else. All those things are there.
And some good, also protective scriptures. Psalms 57:3, Psalms 72:4, Psalms 91:7, Psalms 138:7, Psalms 145:19, Psalms 18:10, Proverbs 20:22, and Proverbs 29:25. And that's one of my favorite ones, Proverbs 29:25. And it just simply says, the fear of man brings a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord shall be safe. If you really believe in what you do, why are you worried about anything about what man can do to you? I hope that you have taken this video that we are doing and don't just be a part of it, but watch it. Use different parts. There's so many different, we've said so much stuff. You have to go back and watch this again. Have to. Miss Carmilla Brown.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everybody. I had a quick question in regards to the advice that you gave the young lady, Miss Angel. Can that also be used for my mother? Unfortunately, she's not going through she's just being a Virgo. And I mean, can I use the same thing for her as far as the 4 glasses with the ammonia? Because her energy lately, I don't know what's going on with her, but
your mom always been like that though, huh? Maybe it's gotten worse, but it's always been like that.
Yes. And
do y'all know the longer y'all allow people to dwell in that place like that with you, the harder it is to get them out. Because what happens is you create a comfort level within yourself of dealing with things like that. So even spiritually, think about it like this. It's just like, I want to control and dominate my man. Well, bitch, you ain't never controlled and dominate your man. Why you think some all gonna change some shit that you've always allowed to happen? He been calling you bitches since day one. He used to call you a bitch and laugh so he could take the blow off of it. Now, it's easy for him to call you a bitch because you're not offended because he made you used to it. Same thing applies. Sometimes the only way to win is to separate. Now, you might go back into it, but you need to separate because you got to cut that tie. You got to cut that power that you gave back because at some point, you got to get it back. Even with parents, like I said, mothers and fathers, mostly mothers and grandmothers have it real bad. They manipulate everything to go their way. They have that really, really bad, especially if they come from an unhealthy place. They won't give you a healthy place. And your mother is abusive, Miss Brown. She's verbally abusive. And I know we ain't even talked about that. I'm just carving it out. And you probably was who I was talking about earlier.
Yes, ma'am. You were. Yes, ma'am.
So you need to deal with your roots on why you find it okay. Because remember, you give people permission to treat you a certain kind of way. You give them the permission and the okay. A lot of motherfuckers, they scared to talk to me. I've never even had a conversation with them. But I don't play that. But you shouldn't play that either. I'm not so strange and so different. You should be like that too. Because y'all too busy thinking that you're going to miss something or miss a relationship. I would rather not have a relationship than to have a relationship and it's like that. You cannot talk to me any kind of way, point blank period. You can't even play with me any kind of way. You can't come to me talking about other people to me. I don't like that. I'm just not about that. If it ain't funny and we having a good time, I don't want to be I can't do, girl, fuck that and fuck you. I don't want to hear that shit.
Mm-hmm.
With all the shit that didn't happen in 2020, bitch, you still on that? As much as you fucking talk, bitch, you need a blog. Shit. You missing your fucking money and a motherfucking hustle. So all I'm saying is y'all have to learn how to take control over your lives. That's what Papa saying, and me too. And y'all don't do that. Y'all let everybody else get a dig on you. And then you wonder why you are not plugged, as he said. You done let everybody have you. You done let everybody just... No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, sir. Tamika, Tamecca, have a question.
Okay, so my question was about the tools you give to your ancestors on the altar. How do you know what they need? Because like I feel like they talk, but it's like maybe like something's going on in my life where they're not speaking high enough or where I'm not listening enough. So it's like, what like are starter tools to put on the altar for them?
You attracted to a particular object and you don't know why. A particular scent or a particular thing that keeps your attention. And you go, what the fuck I want with a white handkerchief? But then you call back to memory, your big mom used to have a white handkerchief all the time. A little white handkerchief with I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? It could be like that. It could be in a particular song. It could be in a particular movie. I don't know why y'all think when y'all do ancestral work, y'all gonna hear some shit like this. Hello, Carmilla. This is Big Mama, baby. Thank you for the bundt cake you put on the altar. Like y'all be really on some shit like that. To I ain't heard nothing from them. I don't see them. Hey, baby girl, this pawpaw. Like y'all be thinking that they gonna come to you like that, and that is not exactly how that happens. And if it do, y'all gotta remember, y'all ancestors are you, and you are your ancestors. So if they know that coming to you like this gonna scare the shit out of you, they're not gonna come to you like that. It might like be in a dream. Like a lot of times your ancestors come in a dream, and it might come in the form of me. Because a lot of you say, well, I had a dream about you. You might have had a dream about me, but it wasn't actually me. It's who subconsciously you connected to where you're not going to be afraid of them if you see them. Mm-hmm. So just think if Big Mama that died of cancer, and Big Mama used to be 312 pounds because she just used to eat greens and meat and shit all the time. And in your dream, when she died, she was 110. You see Big Mama that's 110 pounds at night because you fuck with your ancestor. How many of y'all gonna run and damn near kill yourself trying to get away from what you see? So stop thinking in the conception, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Stop thinking. That's why I always try to dress good, because I be thinking that however I die, whatever outfit I had, that's what I'm gonna be stuck with for eternity. And I'd be goddamn if I have on some motherfucking jogging pants and a dirty t-shirt, and that's what I died in, because everybody I'm gonna be stuck in a dirty t-shirt and jogging pants. They got, girl, look at Duchess. Oh, I heard was all over her head when she died. And I'm like, hey, y'all, they're like, bitch. So again, all I'm saying with that is our ancestors and stuff, they're not going to speak to us the way that you think. They're going to speak in a way that's comfortable. So everybody not going to get that, hey, sugar. Hey, sugar, thank you for the mints you put. Can you take them off the wrapper next time when you put them on the... It's not going to be like that. It might be in a particular song or a movie, or you thinking about something, or you've been looking at this candle, or you've been looking at this something, and it just staying on your mind. And every time you see it, you're like, I need to get that, but you never get it. That could be your ancestors requesting that. That's just like, I ain't baked a cake in a long time. My dad's birthday, I went and bought him a birthday cake. Who the fuck making 7-Up cakes from scratch? Me, last night. And I couldn't even rest until I went to the store and got the stuff to make a 7-Up cake from scratch. Do you understand what I'm saying? That is not something I would typically bake. I do not cook like that. But here this bitch is making motherfucking 7-Up cake. I'm talking about the old, you understand what I'm saying? That is not something I would typically do, but that was my dad's favorite cake. Every year around Christmas time, and his birthday, because my dad's birthday is on the 20th, his sister would mail him a fucking 7-Up cake. His sister's also deceased. So it rolled me yesterday till I got my ass up, and I was so sad yesterday. I was in my feelings and stuff, and after I did that, it just left me. I felt better. I felt like I had did what I needed to do, and it was released. You understand what I'm saying? So get out of your head that it has to be like, because it's not gonna happen like that. Hey, baby, this pawpaw. Hey, girl, like it's not. And if it is, that's gonna be some scary shit. And you're gonna knock over, you're gonna fall over some shit, you're gonna run over the damn dog trying to get the fuck. You know what I'm saying? So y'all just stop thinking in the conception of like that. It's always the subtle things. It might be a smell. My mom used to wear white diamonds, and when I start smelling white diamonds, I go buy it for her. I take the top off and I just let it sit up there. So I hope that answered your question. Anybody else?
I have some questions. So I got 2 questions.
Oh God, no, let's go ahead, baby.
Okay. So can you recommend some ways to seal and protect your aura? And then the second question is, in spell work, how important is it to cast a circle? I mean, like I do it sometimes, but I don't do it every time. So protection-wise, is that really like something that we should be doing?
In hoodoo and voodoo, you don't necessarily, and Papa can answer that, you don't necessarily have to cast a circle, right? Mm-hmm. But you can protect the area that you're working in and cleanse the area that you're working in.
Okay.
So it's not technically something like that. That's more of a Wiccan, witchcraft, Celtic, that type of casting a circle and stuff like that. But I will do a circle of protection per se for it. It just depends on what type of work it is. And also if I want it to be hidden, which everybody should, all y'all work should be hidden unless it's like prosperity or abundance, something like that. But I believe in hiding, you know, all my shit.
Okay. Thank you.
And as far as you can also use a Solomon seal. Solomon seal is really good. Are you talking about like amulets and stuff like that? As far as like protecting who you are? You can use amulet. Amulets are really good to use if you want, or simply what we already said, you know. I keep black stones on me, like in my bra. I have bracelets that I don't wear bracelets. I used to wear like jade a lot and stuff like that, and they keep breaking. So that means motherfuckers must be throwing work on me. I even wear it here. You know what I'm saying? So that's stuff that you can do to protect your aura. That's what I would do. And I also do work with chicken blood. That I'm not gonna talk about, but I also do work like that. And since you are a part of my coven, of course, I will teach you guys about that. But that is not something that I would openly teach like that. I would not. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My papa to my So yeah, that's not something, because believe it or not, as much as we teach, it's a lot that we don't teach publicly. And that's one of the things I want, because we don't want PETA and, you know, animal rights folks and you know, in some states that's actually a, you know, a crime. So anyway, I hope that answered your question as much as I can answer it. Anybody else? And thank you for not asking nothing to throw it off, T-Mac. Sure appreciate that, because sometimes you get us right at the end. I'll be like, God damn, we was doing so good. And then, yeah, but I'm proud of you. Thank you, darling. You didn't make my nerves bad. Anybody else?
I do. I have a question about like protection for kids, especially like gifted children. What's really good for shielding them?
Well, honestly, something very simple that can be done and works really well is if you put cascarilla on them. Cascarilla is basically powdered eggshell.
Yeah, you sell it in a little round thing.
Yeah, and you take and you put a little cross in the middle of on the crown of their head, on the top of their hands, and then on the top of their feet. And then you can rub it off after you've put it on, so nobody sees it. But it's actually very good, and it's something, you know, that it doesn't take very long to do, but does the job for them.
Okay. I have the eggshell because I had ordered a bunch of the egg powder from you, Duchess. I bought a bunch of it last time. But my son, he's starting to see, like, his gift is like growing extremely fast. And I mean, I don't have experience with being a medium, but he's calling out people that he's never met before, you know, so I'm real concerned. Because even though I do put like black salt, I have the eggshell, I put on the window sills, the doorstep, I do the protection work of the home. But it's like with him, when he goes outside the home, I'm like really concerned.
Well, first of all, stop putting it on him. Stop, and I don't mean that and that goes for everybody. If you do your work, your kids are protected. And I don't think, see, you want somebody, because I could tell you want us to give you a whole bunch of stuff to do when they leave the house. But if you do your work, you don't have to worry about that. And don't put that on your kids like that. Because you can be like, I don't want nothing to happen to my kids. I don't want nothing to happen to my kids. And what you actually tell the universe, please let something happen to my kids, because I don't want that. But I'm stressed because whatever you think about, that's what you give power to. Papa was just talking about that. So if you're constantly thinking stuff like that, when they leave the house, I'm so nervous because I don't want nothing to happen to them. What you're actually saying is, I want something to happen to them. Stop putting it on your kids like that. Don't even control your mind when it comes to yourself like that. And that's just real talk. Because if you do the work, I used to take a little piece of I'm real big into amber, right? So I would take a little piece of amber and I would sew it into my daughter's book bag. That's all she needs. I do the work for her. I put a little cleansing stuff in her bath when I bathe her. When I'm running her water, I read Psalms 23 into it when she's going there and take a bath. You understand what I'm saying? I already would put protection stuff around her, so don't stress on it like that. Taylor Reed.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Hi, everybody. I just had a quick question. I know we were talking about negativity with family members and people in our home. What can I do for a teenager going through all these crazy hormonal changes who is also really starting to pull a lot of negativity in the home?
Could you be more specific, please?
Specifically, my son is 13, almost 14. And recently he's been very just negative. Like everything is doom and gloom. Nothing is really wrong. Nothing is really happening to him. But it seems like he's, how can I say, I don't even want to put this out there because I've never said it out loud, but honestly, he's acting like his biological father was the most negative, narcissistic person I've ever met in my life.
Is there any man in the home with him?
Yeah, my husband, his stepfather is here. He's very active. When he's around him, he's fine. But if it's me and him and he's having a bad day, it's all in front of me, never in front of my husband.
So I'm going to say this, and this don't have nothing to do with Magic, because when it comes to kids, I'm not real sensitive about them. Send them to his daddy.
That's not an option.
Well, then if that's not an option, he need to get it right. They got places for little boys like that. They call homes. See, I'm going to tell you why a lot of times y'all want to be y'all kids' friend. I have no desire to be and if they're 13, they're a young man, y'all want to be their friend. And remember that Willie Lynch shit, that's what we do with our boys. It's a matter of respect. And if you can't respect me, you can't stay here. I don't even know what else to tell you. I could say clean his chakra and whatever, but it might be something generational that you might need to work on. Maybe you need to do some generational work, some reversal work, off of his bloodline. But at the same time, these kids, they different now. They different. And if you don't put your foot down early, they'll control your fucking house. I cleared out my whole motherfucking house. Ain't nobody there but my son. And if he want to act crazy, he get the fuck out too. I know that ain't what you want to hear, but the reality of it is, y'all have to nip this shit in the bud, in the beginning. Because that 13-year-old will be 18 and you'd be done lost your motherfucking mind.
Well, that's the thing. He's not disrespectful per se. My husband's military, so we run a very tight ship. It's just, he's negative. Like, he's like very, it's almost like he walks around like
you say something else, baby. I don't give a fuck about no kids like that. Negative or otherwise, you need to change your fucking attitude. You in my house. Period. You got a good fucking life, I'm sure. Y'all provide for him, I'm sure. He ain't struggling and wanting for shit, I'm sure. You need to control your you need to control your son. Now.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I don't be fucking around with some badass kids like that. I cuss they motherfucking ass out and I'll punch them in their fucking throat and put them out. I don't play that. No motherfucker be. Let me go on because I'm about to get mad. DeAndre Campbell, good Lord. What you want, DeAndre? What you want? Don't say nothing crazy.
I wasn't.
Okay.
I was just asking about the flax seeds. Like when we eat food that hold protection, that have that protective energy, are we like building a shield around ourselves, or we just eat it for our health?
You just eat it for your health.
No, there is protection work or guards that are ingested. Yes. So something that has, you know, protective a protective spirit about it, eating it does aid and lend itself to that.
But it don't stick
there
with
is,
it, Papa, because you shitting it all out.
No, but work has to be maintained.
So you're gonna keep eating flax seeds every day, I guess. And flax seeds make you shit. Well, I mean, yeah, hey, okay.
I wasn't just talking about flax seeds. I was just talking about protective food in general. I just said flax seeds because it was brought
believe
up.
it for the ancestors, but I don't know if I believe it for us because our body is constantly regurgitating things and it's built to release. So I don't know. Whatever Papa said.
Well, like I said, there are guards that are taken in that, you know, can take the spirit of what, you know, that is, you know, like, you know, lemon, lime, garlic, those sorts of things. The other thing is that using those things in baths, because everybody who knows me knows that I'm a big person when it comes to baths. I'm all about baths as well. So it's also a matter of balance. You know, so if I just eat this, am I going to be protected? Not exactly, no. Will it lend itself to it? Sure. But at the same point in time, there's still other work that has to be done also. Because remember, it's just like with the railroad spikes. If you only put spikes in one corner, you've got 3 corners that are unprotected. So this is about, you know, hitting all of those corners to make sure that it's not just protection, but it's fortification.
Did I answer your question, Ms. DeAndre?
It did. Thank you.
Okay. Miss Queen.
I apologize if I missed it. We talked about protecting our homes and our children and our aura, but what about our finances?
What are your finances? They're an extension of you, right?
Correct.
All right. Correct. So if you're protecting yourself, you're also protecting the things that you have. Your home is an extension of yourself. Like your children are an extension of yourself. Your finances are an extension of yourself. So if you're doing work for yourself and protecting yourself, all of those things fall in that umbrella of that. So it's just making sure that it's, you know, that it's always on. I mean, you know, oh, you know, I'll tell you, put a piece of high John root, you know, on a doll or whatever. I mean, but that's not really like how that works, because all of those things become extensions of yourself. They're extensions of you. And if you're protecting you, then you're protecting those other things.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Sasha Grace.
Hi, I just had 2 quick questions. One about the asafoetida, the devil's dung that you were talking about for banishing. What particularly do you do with it?
What, the asafoetida?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was saying it was like the sulfur, and you can put it on the outside of your house because it stinks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know you did the same thing with them. And the other question was about the protective herbs that you said you kept on your altar. Now, would I just like put it in a bowl of the herbs that I choose?
I do. And if you can get them fresh, the better. Okay. Like if you can get like fresh, you know, fresh basil, and like she said, she want to do protective work of her finances. You can also put like fresh bay leaves and fresh basil and fresh lemongrass, you know, the fresh, you can use dried herbs and stuff like that. But if you guys remember, I did this abundance ritual like last year, and I had all of those fresh herbs and stuff on that altar. That's why I was giving it to him like that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else? This was good. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Kimberly, you be long-winded in the motherfucker. Don't be giving up. You already asked some questions. Don't be long-winded now, because you be wearing me thin.
This is with the vehicle.
Okay.
Now with my vehicle, I got a blessed railroad spike underneath the driver's seat. I sprayed it with your protection spray and holy water. And I've been running them streets going back and forth from Texas to Louisiana and everything.
You supposed to be traveling?
Huh?
The doctor said it's okay for you to travel?
I can go back and forth because I'm going to see a doctor.
Oh, okay.
Out there in Louisiana. Yeah. And I almost got hit last time. Thank God I did that. Because I didn't see the vehicle came up from behind.
Well, that's what these things are in place for, Miss Kimberly. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody else? I appreciate y'all. I'm trying not to go crazy and just be eating like a nigga in front of you. But mother about to finish this plate. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I thank Sam Moise so much. Please feel free to give him a review on his page about this class. He loved reading those reviews. He really enjoyed that. He really does enjoy that. And that helps to feed his spirit and for him to continue to teach. I don't take it lightly that my godfather be so willing to share with my people, because he don't have to do that at all. And so I just love him and I thank him for his time. And I praise him. I adore him in every sense of the word. And I'm so grateful for him and the information that he shares with us and he gives us. You have any final words, Papa, that you want to say?
No, just want to thank everybody for coming, and my hope for all of you is that you continue to walk down the path of growth, because the more that you grow, the better you become. The better that you become, the more blessed you are. The more blessed you are, the more that you can do. So thank you all for coming.
If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the group and I'll answer them. I guess if we didn't touch on something, I'm going to upload the video and I'm going to send it to you guys. And blessings to y'all, and y'all have a good night. I'm doing a class tomorrow. I'm not sure which one I'm doing on the list, but for those who are in the class, I'll see y'all tomorrow, okay? Good night, y'all, and I love y'all. Thank y'all so much.
Bye.